Welcome to Satisfactory, the best factory simulation game in my opinion, created by Coffee Stain Studio, and update 8 is almost ready to be live for everyone. I've been testing it on the experimental branch and this is a big one. So I think this is the perfect time for new and veteran player to start a new playthrough. So you can follow along if you want or you can just enjoy the ride. Why is it the best time? Because the game is now on Unreal Engine 5.2 and it looks incredible, in particular with the inclusion of Lumen. But it does mean that your old factories from previous playthrough may now be very dark. So it's a good way to start new one. We also have blueprints which are now ready, I feel. You can delete them all at once. You can easily place them with the new nudge functionality, I'm gonna show you that, and you can even copy them easily. There's also a lot of new quality of life. For example, it's easier to place signs everywhere. In this playthrough, I'll be teaching the basics for new players, sharing tons of tips for veterans, but also creating a lot of new blueprints for you to use in your own saves. We're gonna do blueprints for factories, but also for other things, like for example, a highway where you have road, rail, belts, pipes all at once. I'm going to show you also one of the best starting location. You need to select over here the northern forest and I'll show you how to get there. It will be over here between the northern forest and the rocky desert. You have tons of great resources as you can see. There's 4 pure iron nodes, 2 pure copper nodes, 2 pure limestone nodes, 2 pure raw quartz. There's a pure coal on this side but also multiple on the other side over here. We have the sulfur and the caterium not too far, so there's basically everything really close. There is not tons of space in the forest, but what you can do is you can build over here on top of the water and then you have tons of place. We are going to skip the onboarding process so that I can actually explain it to you a bit better. Don't worry, you're not missing anything. And by the way, there is something new, the advanced game settings over here. For example, you can play with no power or no unlock cost. We're definitely not gonna do that. Spoiler alert, I think at some point in the series we will click on this to unlock all of the alternate recipes instead of just having to find them all across the map, but definitely not at the beginning. The only thing that I will actually unlock is this flight mode, because I'm gonna play without mod at all. This way I can show you from the sky, for example, and you can have a really great view on what's happening. Similarly over here, we're not gonna change anything. We're really starting from the scratch. This is perfect for new players. But don't worry, for the veterans, we'll quickly go to where it becomes interesting. Okay, let's get started. So here it is, we have just landed on this foreign planet. We are alone. There's a lot of creatures, but we're the only human, at least as far as we know for now. Now we're gonna want to find our base as soon as possible. To do this, press V to scan for resources. This way we can scan, for example, for the limestone and see where the limestone is. We can see there's some limestone over here, for example. Then there's some on this side. Now when you land, you don't always land exactly in the same spot, but there's a couple of usual spots and this is one of these. Basically we are over here. There is indeed some limestone just in front of us, but we're gonna want to go over there, right? And in particular, we're gonna want to stop also, take this hard drive, or more importantly, take the resources that are on the hard drive before we go anywhere. But before we do so, press tab to get into your inventory and put on your Xenozapper, right? You don't want to get attacked. So we're gonna go, it's this side. We can grab everything on our way. There's a lot of leaves, flowers, woods, all of this. We should make sure to grab quite a few because at the beginning, we're gonna have to use this for our power. We're gonna burn all of this for our power, but my goal is gonna be to rush towards the coal generation so that then we don't have to do this at all and we can automate everything. Because remember, the whole point of the game is to automate as much as possible, right? It's a factory game, so we're gonna want to automate as much as we can. Whenever possible, pick this wood. This is even better than the leaves. You shouldn't die, that would be bad for this series. Whoa. Where is him? when you so these hogs and other creatures usually are protecting important things. They can be protecting resources, drop pods, those type of things. When you kill them, make sure that you pick up their remains. You know, this one is the hog remain, for example, very important. I'll show you in the future what we can do with them. But yeah, as I was saying, on my way to the base location, we want to stop over here at this drop pod near a small lake because there's a lot of resources, you know, tons of wires, screws, iron plates. That's going to help us a lot to go fast at the beginning of the game. So let's take everything. I don't know if I missed anything. Checking if there's anything in the bushes. Yeah, here, for example, some more wires. That is great. Now these drop pods, you can also open them. Sometimes you're gonna need something, sometimes electricity. In this case, one modular frame. We don't have that, so we can't open it. You know, it's blocked, but we know that we can come in the future. We haven't unlocked the map yet, so we can't really put it on the map, but in the future we can come back. So let's continue this way to get, you know, to a location. This is really close, right? We are basically there. What I'm gonna do is really clean this whole space. Let me take to the sky so I can show you a bit where we are. We basically started over here behind this big rock formation, right? And we moved that side. We moved toward this big thing if you want to see it. But yeah, this is where you can see there is 4 iron nodes. Then we have 2 copper nodes over here. We have 1 limestone there and another just behind over here. And there's tons of other resources. So it's gonna be great, you know, it's a great place. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna clean all of those bushes over here, right, so that we have a clean space to work with. Let's go. Okay, so now it's pretty clean. As you can see, we have a lot of space to build. What we're gonna place first is a hub. We have the objective over here. The hub is very important. It's sort of like your house, if you wish. We're gonna put actually the hub towards there, towards the back. Now there is a new feature with update 8, which is when you press H, you can lock the hologram. So now the hologram is, you know, not moving. I can move and see, okay, is it at the right place? Should I put it somewhere else? And in this case, it was pretty good, except I want to put, you know, the electricity on the other side. So I'm gonna press H again to unlock it. And basically I'm turning it with my mouse wheel, right, to put it on the other side. Perfect. Now there is 3 very important things. First of all, you have personal storage. You can put things in it. For example, I can put my hogs remain and my flowers. I don't really need that right now. Then we have the hub terminal. This is how we're going to unlock new tiers. We are right now in tier 1. We didn't do tier 0. This is what we bypassed at the beginning, but don't worry, you didn't miss anything. I'll show you. But now tier 1 and tier 2, we definitely need to unlock them. Currently in the early access, we go up to tier 8. We probably will have even more in the full version. And in each of the tier, you also have multiple things. For example, we have base building, logistic, and field research in tier 1. Each of these milestones requires some resources. In this case, for example, 300 wires, 300 screws, and 100 of iron plates. Versus for base building, it is 200 of concrete, 100 iron plates, and 100 iron rod. Last but not least, we have a craft bench. But by the way, you can also build a craft bench pretty much anywhere you want. You have it over here. It costs a bit of resources, but you know, you can build it anywhere you want. It can be pretty useful, but it is not automation. You know, this is basically to build something manually. For example, if I want a few more reinforced iron plate, I can press space and it's going to start crafting. It's, you know, you don't have to press space again. It is working now on its own, but still, you know, this is not really automation because you can only do one at a time and all of this. We will use it though for a few seconds to create some biomass out of wood. I told you the wood is really great because it creates tons of biomass from a small amount of wood. So, you know, I'm creating some. I want 400 biomass basically. So again, I just press space once and then waited because now I can put this biomass into those 2 biomass burners that are part of the hub. These are a bit special because they only provide 20 megawatts versus the biomass that you can build yourself. They provide 30, but to get us started, you know, this is pretty good. Now I press Control to give 200 right away. You can also press right click if you want to separate it into 2 groups of the same amount. In this case, you know, that's not really useful, so you can put them back together, and then you can also drag it like this if you want, but I prefer to do Control and click. So now they are full of biomass. This will be enough for quite a while, don't worry. Now before we start building, I want to actually show you what I want to build for this episode. Pressing Q to open my builder, one thing that is very interesting is we can select a constructor, and you can click on the plus sign over here to open your to-do list. So now in the to-do list, I can see that I want to do one constructor, and this requires 2 reinforced iron plate. I have 67 in my inventory, so that's totally fine. And it requires 8 cables. I have 52, so I'm totally fine too. You can, by the way, click also there to update this, for example, to put more or less, but also to write notes. Hovering over this question mark, you can see how to format the text, but you can write episode 1 goals. The first goal, for example, is to set up power. The second goal, for example, to set up iron plates, rods, and screws. The third goal to set up wire and cables. And maybe the fourth and last one is to set up concrete. So now you can see those goals, you can see what is needed. And so in particular, I've basically calculated what I want. I want to build 15 constructors in this episode. I want to build 4 smelters. I want to build 4 miners. And I also want to build, I think, 9 storage containers. And now I can see that I don't have enough of the resources. So you can see, for example, I have enough of the reinforced iron plate, but not enough of the cables, iron rod, and iron plates. That's not a problem. Obviously, we're gonna make some. And what's really great with this is, for example, when you want to start a new factory, you're leaving your main factory to go somewhere else to build a new one. You want to make sure that you have enough resources before you leave in your inventory, right? Otherwise, you can have some troubles. So the first thing we're gonna do is start with some power. Now again, of course, you can do all of this on the ground like this if you don't play with the flight mode, but in my case, I'm going to go into the sky so that you can see better how I'm placing things. Now before we start building, at the bottom over here, you have your hotbar. There is actually 9 different ones. We are in number 1, and you have 10 different keys for each. So I can assign anything that I want to these. For example, I will press 0 to assign this one to the 0. Then this one will be number 9, this will be number 8, and this will be number 7. I already have the power pole, the power line. We also already have the conveyor belt. I don't really care about this one, but for now I don't really need to put anything. The only one missing, oh, by the way, sorry, I forgot that I also wanted, I think, 4 biomass burner to get us started. So this will be number 6. Okay, so the way we're gonna do it is first we're gonna have a storage container. Now we can see 2 colors and 2 arrows, right? An orange one that's going in and a green one that's going out. This is basically input orange and output blue. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna put it like this, input to the top, output to the bottom. And we're gonna put a second, few meters apart. Right now we don't have foundation, so it's a bit more of guesswork, but that should be fine. Then we're gonna put 2 constructors, each of them aligned to the box. Now you can see this green line when you're pretty aligned, but you can also just press Control and it will align automatically. So for example, pressing Control, it aligns automatically pretty easily to both. And then in the future, I'll put again 2 more boxes, but we're gonna wait a bit because I don't have tons of resources. Then pressing 3, I have my conveyor belt level 1, Mark 1. This means it can transport 60 per minute. It's not huge, but for now, it's definitely gonna be enough. So what are we going to do over here? This is gonna be the automation of biomass. 1 for leaves and 1 for wood. So, over here, we're gonna put the wood, and over here, we're gonna put the tons of leaves that we have. But to be able to create biomass, it needs to be connected to the grid of electricity. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna put a pole over here, then pressing 2, I get into my power lines, right? And I can connect the 2 biomass burners that we had already there to this pole. You can see now 2 connections out of 4. So we're gonna do another one like this, and then actually 1 over here and 1 here. Again, all of this is temporary. This is just to get us started. In the future, we'll do a lot better. But yeah, now you can see that this one is green, this one is yellow. This means this is working at 100% of productivity versus this one is yellow because it needs 120 leaves per minute, but the belt is limited to 60, right? So this is not working at 100% of productivity. versus this one only needs 60 wood and it's getting 60 wood, at least until this is empty. So anyway, now we're gonna be creating biomass, easy, right? And then we can store the biomass also into those storage containers. Moving on, we're gonna start with the first resource, which is over here, the iron ore. This is a pure node, so this is going to produce a lot, but the reality is we can't really produce that much right now. Now, if we try to build it right away, it's gonna say invalid placement. It's because it's blocked by this. We first need to press E to pick it up, to break that piece of iron ore. Done. And now we'll be able to build it. Now if I press 9, again, I can easily build it. Can rotate it with my mouse, of course, right? And here it is. We have built our first miner. This is great. This miner is going to get us some ore that will go into a smelter. Again, I'm gonna go into space so you see it very clearly. What we're gonna do is we're gonna leave a bit of space in between, and I'll explain why in the future. But yeah, we have the smelter, and then for now we're just gonna put one smelter. Then we press 3 to just connect all of this together. We do need to make sure to select what they should be doing. So the smelter needs to be doing iron ingot, for example. The constructor will do iron plate. This is the first thing we want to do, because also if we look over here, this is gonna be low quite soon. Then of course we'll need to connect it to electricity, right? So that's something we're gonna do. I'll put one over here, and then I'll put there 1, 2, and 3. Okay, this should be working. Now this is a pure node, so this is 120 per minute, meaning this is a lot more than what the belt of 60 can deal with. And actually this is only dealing 30 per minute. So you can see that with just this one node, we can actually put multiple smelters in the future. Then this is creating 30 ingots, and this 30 ingots is exactly what's needed for this one. So this will actually work at 100% productivity very soon. So we have our first iron resource done. So let's turn our attention to the other two resources. We have the copper behind, and we have the limestone this side. We're gonna go first to the copper, because I'm a bit low on cables. Let's go. We can sprint all the way there. We do the same, we need to press E to break that formation, that rock formation on top, and then we'll be able to put a miner. In this case over here, there is really not a lot of space, so as soon as we can, we'll expand more on that side. But to get us started, we don't really have a choice. So let's put our miner like this, then put a smelter right in front of it, and one constructor. This is a bit close, but there is something great about Satisfactory, which is if you press F, you're going to dismantle. And when you dismantle, you actually get all of the resources back. So that is not a problem. The only thing that doesn't work well when you do this is the to-do list, because now it says 2 smelter, it should have gone back to 3. So I'm gonna do it manually. And this is something I'd love for them to fix in the future, but anyway, that is life. So let's go. We're gonna want to put the smelter a bit further, as I said, and then similarly constructor. Let's make sure that maybe we're gonna turn and go this side actually. So let's go. Number 3, connecting the belt. Now let's use this opportunity for me to show you how to do a nice turn, because this is not nice, right? You want to do a 90-degree turn. So what you do is you go all the way until you are in front, until you can see the green line. Then you go back 2 meters, which is hard to do when you don't have foundations, but it's somewhere over here. When we have foundation, it will be a lot easier, I guarantee you. But here it is. This is a pretty good 90-degree. Then we're gonna need electricity, of course. I'm gonna run the electricity over here on top. Done, and then 1. Damn, I'm gonna be missing 1 cable. We need 1 more cable. So again, at the beginning of the game, we haven't automated anything. So for now, we need to go into our craft bench, right, and make a bit of cables ourselves. It's a good thing we found so much wire near the drop pod. Alright, so we definitely have enough, that's not a problem. And then we can go back to the other side. We can check also while we're at it, we can check the iron plate. Because at some point this is going to get full and will stop. For example, over here, I'm pretty sure this is full and is not working. Yeah, here it is. There is wood, but it's not working because this is full. Now if I take it into my inventory, it's restarting. The weather is changing. This is a foreign planet, we don't really know, but look how beautiful those buildings can be. So anyway, let's connect now this one to the final. So we have the miners creating copper ore. Copper ore will go into copper ingots. Good, and those copper ingots will go first into wires. So it is the first few ones, and by the way, you can press E if you want to steal them and do something with them. Okay, so that is wire, the second resource. Now you may remember that we're producing tons of iron and not doing anything with it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put another layer of these. So one smelter and one constructor. This is ingot, and this time you're gonna do iron rod. We're gonna put obviously a line between. Now this is not going to start until you give it some ore, right? So what we need to do is take the ore from the miner with control and clicking on it, and then delivering it manually there. Now that's gonna start working as soon as we put electricity. Let's do another line basically like this. 1 and 2. Okay, so now this one is going to start, and by the way, look at some of these animations, and really cool. And then we're gonna get way bigger buildings, and you'll see they are going to be even cooler animations. But yeah, with this, we're going to start making some roads because we were super low on roads. So I was a bit worried. And then we can go this side to do the limestone, right? We haven't started the limestone yet. So we're gonna walk over this bridge, and the limestone is on top over here. We're gonna walk around. Unless you're flying, then obviously that's easy. But here we're not cheating, you know? We're just going around and around. And here we have the limestone. As always, we're gonna break the rock formation on top. Gonna give us a bit of limestone. And done. Then we're gonna place a new miner. Done. You could build, the constructor next to it on top. What I'm gonna do is actually I'm gonna build it at the bottom, because this way I don't have to go all the way up when I want to get the resources. Now in the future we'll have things like elevators and things like this. Right now I think we're gonna cheat a bit and we're gonna go through the rock formation. Sorry about that. I'm just trying to get quickly to something more interesting for all of you. Let's extend our power line to get all the way over here. And I think we may break the circuit at this point. We're gonna check. So this one 120 per minute, so that's easy. Concrete, it's taking 45, so that's fine. And now we haven't broken yet the circuit. I'm surprised. You can look at any of your power station or even poles. Pressing E, you'll be able to see your consumption. Minute per minute, my consumption is changing right now because some of those constructors are not working around 100%. Then I can see my maximum capacity, which is 40 megawatts. Then I can see what I'm actually producing, which in the case of biomass burner is completely aligned to what you consume. You're not gonna burn more, so that is really great. But I can also see that my max consumption is 51, which is actually above my capacity, right? So if all of my factories were working at 100%, I would be in trouble. And soon we will be in trouble, clearly. If you look over here, for example, we are very close to tripping the network. So it's time to build the generator, but we're actually missing 2 rods. So let's just get some over here. 60, perfect. Love it. So while we're at it, let's actually build 2. Take some biomass from my constructors over here. This way we can get them full. Oh, here it is. See, we have broken a fuse. Our network has shut down. But that's fine. We're gonna fix it in 1 minute. So I'm gonna put 1 pole over here, connect them to it, and connect to that one. Good. Now we need to put it back on, but our capacity is gonna jump from 40 to 100. So we shouldn't have a problem at all anymore. Love it. So, looking at my constructors right now, this is everything I have unlocked. I have unlocked the iron plates, the iron rod and screws, the wires and cables, the concrete and the biomass. We are doing already a lot of them, right? We're doing the biomass automated, we're doing concrete automated, doing wire automated, iron plate and iron rod. So we still have cable and screw. But to really be able to start these ones, what I want splitters and mergers. So we need to unlock this milestone over here. So let me put it at the top there. So we need 3 things. We need a lot of wires, that's fine, we have them. We need a lot of iron plate, we have enough too. We don't have enough iron rod though. So we're gonna need to craft a bit. Now while we're waiting, you may have realized there was something strange over here, a blue power slug. Obviously I saw it because I was on flight mode. Maybe if you're on the ground you didn't see it, but don't worry, you can definitely access it. Let me show you how. We're gonna go towards our biomass burner there and we're gonna be able to go up. There is a path there. Of course, continue to gather, leaves and things like this. Even if we have, I think, powers for a few hours right now, it's always good to have it. So we're going up and we are, where the slug was, in this corner there. Where are you? Yeah, you can see it there. So let's gather it, a blue power slug. And this is the perfect opportunity to talk indeed about the MAM. The problem is we haven't actually unlocked the MAM yet, so I cannot build it, but as soon as we do, we'll talk about it. In the meantime, we can put it into our personal box. Of course, if you have any questions about the game, thoughts also on how for me to do the best episode, do you want to see things from the ground up? Do you want to see calculations on paper in Excel or something like this? I'd love to hear your thoughts so that I make this series the best possible for all of you. Okay, a few minutes later and we have enough of the rods so we can deliver them and we can launch the pod. And then I want to show you how that looks because this is amazing. Look at this. The pod is going and it's going to send those resources basically to the mothership, right? And in exchange, the mothership is giving us the blueprints for new things. In this case, the blueprints for splitters, mergers, conveyor lifts, and productivity display, which is when you click on the constructor now, I can see the productivity. It's not great, 22%. Versus if I look over here, this one is even worse because it's full. But now if I do this, the productivity should start going up, and if we have enough wood and we take out the biomass, it will get to 100%. So this is actually pretty useful to see if your factories are working well. I would love though, something like a bit control Q in Anno 1800 if you're familiar, so a bit more of a statistic menu. I think that would be amazing. But anyway, we do have now a couple of new things, so let's go into Q, logistics. You can see the conveyor lift, I'm going to put it at number 4, and then conveyor merger or splitter, I'm actually going to put the splitter at number 5. But if I press 5, I see the splitter. If I press E, I will go into the merger. So it's easy, to go through them. So anyway, now we can really get serious. We can get into some cool things. In particular over here, instead of having to take manually this iron ore and deliver it over here, now what I can do is press 5. Now this is a splitter, so there is 1 input in orange and 3 output in green. Right? So obviously make sure that you put it the right way. The orange is the input and green the output. But now what we can also do is press 3 to do another one this side. Again, we don't have the foundation, so it's hard to make it perfectly 90 degrees, but that should work well. And so now what happens is on this belt, there is 60 iron ore, right? 30 is going to go this side, 30 is going to go that side, right? This is a belt that can transport 60, and that's why it's not full, as you can see, right? But we also only need 30, so that's perfect. We only need 30, so that's perfect. So now this is fully automated, right? But look at this, this is creating 30. And here we're only taking 15. That's not good. So let's put another splitter, right? Over here. And again, do the same thing. Yeah, that's not very clean, sorry. Let me Okay, sorry, that's not very clean, but let's do it quick and dirty. So now I'm gonna have 15, iron ingots going this side to my iron rod, and 15 going that side, also for iron rod, right? 15, 15. So that's perfect. I just need to connect it, and this is full, 4 out of 4. So that's not gonna work. We're gonna create another line. So now this one will start and make even more iron rod. But I don't want to stop there. I want to put another one somewhere over here. I know it's a bit close. Again, this is really temporary, but this one will make some screw because the screws are made out of rod, at least the normal recipe. In the future, we'll have better recipes. By the way, this is only taking 10 while we're making 15. So there's gonna be actually, a surplus. But for now, let's not do anything. Let's leave it like this. Let's connect this one, and this will start making some screws. So we have made the iron plates, the rods, and the screws. Now let's do the same on that side for the copper. So remember, this is 120, but that belt is only 60, but this is only 30. So we can put again a splitter somewhere over here. I hope I clicked right. I'm not 100% sure, but we'll see it very quickly if I did or not. Let's try to make it a bit more clean. Yeah. Okay, it is working. Perfect. We need to obviously connect electricity. Now we have a problem is that this is full. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna press 1 to get a pole. And then what we want to do is put the pole basically in the middle like this and press Control. It's going to create now a pole between the two, which we can place anywhere we want. So for example, over here. And this way now, instead of having this connected directly to the smelter, this one is connected to that one. And so we have now a new one to connect this. Perfect. Love it. And then we can do this and connect like this. So we're creating 30 and we're using 15. Not good, right? So we can put another one. Another tip is press Control and your middle mouse button. And of course you can rebind this to something else if you want. And this will copy the building that you just clicked on. So this is really useful. So let's do this. And basically I want to actually try to fit even more if possible. Okay, 3, that's a start. Then what we're gonna want to do is have a splitter, for example, over here. So we're gonna connect this to the splitter. This there, and this one over here. Good. So we're creating 30 and then using 15 and 15. Perfect. We do need to connect them to electricity, of course. 1, 2, and you'll be the third. Now the third can be connected directly. Okay. This. Okay. This is not efficient, but it's a start. So this one is going to do also wire, but those wires are then going to be sent to make something else, to make cables. Let me clean that a bit. Later we'll be also able to cut the trees, don't worry. But these two, this is 30 and 30. And you may remember that this is exactly what we need to have an efficient one in terms of cables. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna first merge those two. Hopefully this will not be too steep. Yeah. And this one. Good. Then we need our constructor, right? So put the constructor. Let's put it this side. This is doing cable. So again, 60. That's a perfect ratio. And then we can put a container. It's too steep. Done. Okay, we just need electricity now. Good. So this should get started and this should be green 100%, no problem. So now let's take a quick look at our electricity. Now that we have a lot more online, So our max consumption has jumped to 75, but that's still below our capacity, so all good. All good. So actually I completely missed, the numbers. This wasn't what I needed. The other miner that I had considered is because there is another deposit of limestone somewhere here. Yeah, is over here. So it's not that far from the other, right? But it's hard to access. So we're not gonna do it right away. Instead, we're gonna look a bit more at milestone, right? We could get, for example, over here, the field research because it has the map. So let's definitely do that one. We have enough of the wires, that's not a problem. We don't have enough of the others, so let's just get the resources. Bit of screws, perfect. We have indeed also forgot to put those storage, so let's do it. So we're gonna have one for this, one for that. And the problem is if I put one over here, then I'm blocking this. So we may have to move those ones, and we're low on road also. I mean, this way what's really good is you look at the storage, you can store a lot, right? So I can go take a nap, I can go have a drink, this will continue to work, and this will store a lot. But as I said, we may want to move these ones now, though they're a bit in the way. At the same time, all of this is temporary. Soon we'll move it probably somewhere around here or on there. Maybe we'll do two bays, one for the copper stuff, one for the iron on this side. Anyway, let's deliver and get the map. So screw and iron plates, send it, and let's look at it again because it's so pretty. Nice. Cool. And come back soon. It will basically come back in 2 minutes. Oh, and by the way, you also have your actual house there. You can sleep over here, you can play games over there. We're not gonna do it today, but tell me in the comments if you want me to do it. Now, last but not least for tier 1, the base building. This is where we're gonna get foundations, basic walls, and also the lookout tower, which can be really great if you don't want to have the flight mode, but you still want to be high, basically. It does require a bit more concrete than what we have. And by the way, those foundations will also require quite a bit of concrete. So I think we should do what I had initially planned, which is to actually create over here another quick concrete base. So let's do it. Done. Go down. I think there is a bad guy somewhere over here. We'll see. We'll get a warning when they get close to us. Cleaning around so we can see what we're doing. This one, don't worry too much about it. It's not gonna attack you. They can be annoying sometimes, but that's life. Okay, it is. We have another pure limestone node that we're not really utilizing because of the belt level 1. Then it goes into this one to make concrete. Perfect. So that's going to be stored also in one of these, and we can actually check. I don't think I put one on the other one. Ah, bad. Yeah, let's go. Let's take a quick look at these ones. How full are they? I mean, 140, that's not bad. 100, slowly but surely they're gonna get full. More importantly, we unlock the MAM, right? So let's build it and let me show you what this is. So it is a small laboratory basically, where you're going to do a couple of things. One is when we find hard drives, we can unlock them, see what's inside the hard drive. And then we have, these are sort of like tech trees. For example, over here, you can see, it starts at the top where we can do this first research where we're gonna give, one of those hog remains to unlock the alien protein. But there's also others. For example, this one is with the petal. We can actually do it. It's going to take 3 seconds to research for this specific one. In the future, it could take a lot longer. Then over here, we could have a color gun, for example, right? Where we can start coloring things. So the MAM is basically both gameplay and visual. It will give us access to definitely very interesting things. So it is, I took my hog remain, right? We can put it over there. And now we're going to unlock this one, right, which requires 5 of these alien protein. And this is something we can make in the constructor and in the craft bench, as it says at the bottom. I mean, flower petal we could also do, let's go. It is costing quite a bit, and it's also gonna take a bit of time. So in the meantime, we cannot do the next one. We need to wait. You know, it's one research at a time. You know, even if I build a second MAM, this will still be the same, which personally I don't think is right. I feel like they should let us do one research per MAM, but okay, this is done. So more importantly, let's go and do the milestone, right? We have all of the resources, easy, launch pod, done, base building has been unlocked. Wait, where is my pod? It's gone. Okay, why not? But yeah, now we can do walls and foundations. This is really great stuff, including some ramps, by the way. So actually, let's look at our milestones, right? At our goals. We have power. We have a bit more power than what we need. We have done the iron plates, rods and screws automated, including putting them into a storage container. We have done wire and cables also with storage, and we've done actually 2 concrete factories. So yeah, we've, I think, completed all of the goals for this episode. This is obviously episode 1, just to show you how to start. We have now automated all of the resources for tier 1. This will enable us to move a lot quicker through tier 2, and in particular to rush as quickly as possible to tier 3 and the automated coal power, where at that point we'll never need to pick up, you know, leaves again. But at the same time, you know, I put 200 at the beginning of this episode, there's still some there. So it's not like you need to put many often. So again, please don't hesitate to tell me in the comments below if you have any questions, thoughts, requests for future episodes. Smash the like button, it really does help, especially small channel like myself, and I hope to see you next time.